Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest. The time is 4:29 p.m. on the 16th of May. Trading has finished for the day, and I thought what I'll do in today's video, daily update video, is just go through what I do every single trading day, apart from when I'm working at my real job as an operational meteorologist with the Bureau of Meteorology. And on those days, I do this sort of thing at around about 8:30 p.m. But what I want to show you is exactly what I do every single trading day. Now, I'm not going to show you what I do in the morning or through the rest of the day, because in the morning, between about 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., I will be in front of my computer and I will go through the announcements via ComSec, because the majority of price sensitive announcements are released before trading begins. Now, you will see a few price sensitive announcements released after 10 a.m., but the majority are released before 10 a.m. And then when trading begins, typically I get away from my computer, do various other things, completely ignore what's happening on the market for the next 6 hours. And then around about 4:05 p.m., 4:10 p.m., I go back to my computer, and sometimes I will have a look at the closing auction. But what I want to do is just go through and see how the market has reacted to those price sensitive announcements. Sometimes I have my own thoughts, my own opinions on how I think the market might react, but a lot of times I am completely mistaken. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go through the announcements, have a look, particularly the announcements that are relevant for me and for companies that I own or companies that I do follow, and just see how the market has reacted. Now, another thing I do, which I didn't show you in the video released yesterday on the 15th of May, is at around about 4:30 p.m., and this is about 20 minutes after the closing auction, is I go through the top gainers and top losers from market index. And the reason I have to wait 20 minutes is because a lot of websites are 20-minute delayed when it comes to announcements and the end of the market or the start of the market. So sometimes you do have to wait. So typically I wait to about 4:30 p.m. because that's 20 minutes after 4:10 to have a look at that particular website. So I'll have a look at that later in the video maybe, and also have a look at how the charts are looking for some of these companies, particularly those companies where the share price might have increased by a significant amount or decreased by a significant amount today on the back of announcements. Now, there were quite a few interesting announcements today, and the first one that was released at 7:31 a.m., maybe I should zoom in on this. That would be nice. Zoom in. So the first significant announcement today was James Hardie, JHX, releasing their Q4 financial year 23 results. 103 pages. I did have a look at this because I do or am a James Hardie shareholder. And the whole reason I bought into James Hardie was just a technical trade. That's as simple as that. And I thought the market might react fairly, I thought the market would be kind to James Hardie. I thought the market would be up on these results. So let's have a look. And for those who don't know, all you have to do on ComSec is just to hover your mouse over the T code, and you can see how the company has performed. So James Hardie up 8.3%. As a shareholder of this company, I'm pretty I'm ecstatic about that increase in share price. And the other thing I always do is just have a look at the chart. So this is Trading View chart. So I've got the US on the right hand side there. And the main reason I took a position in James Hardie is because the share price was in a really good downtrend from about the start of 2022 all the way through to the end of 2022 or start of 2023. Share price fell from about $58 down to $26, but you could just see the sentiment starting to shift around. And this is sort of confirmation that the market was hinting or thinking that things were better for James Hardie than what the market was thinking towards the end of 2022, why the share price was down a fair bit. So the share price definitely is now breaking out, and definitely has moved into an uptrend. So not only that, this was a pretty good bullish one-day candlestick, where the share price almost closed at the high for the day. And the last time the share price was this high was way back in August of last year. So we're talking about an 8-month high in the share price for James Hardie. So the market reacted to their Q4 results quite enthusiastically, and maybe there was also some outlook in there. I can't quite remember, but again, this is the sort of thing you want to see for a company you do own, particularly if it's a technical trade. I was just listening to the market. This all I was doing when I took a position in James Hardie. I was listening to the market. The market was thinking things were looking a little bit more positive for this company, and these fourth quarter results sort of backed that thinking up. So the way I look at it is the market overall is way smarter than I am. So I want to listen to what the market is saying when it comes to companies like James Hardie. Next interesting announcement was Appen trading halt. So this was in regards to capital raising. They also released an announcement after this about 50 minutes later. We'll get to that in a second. So typically when a company goes in a trading halt, we call it a capital raising, they'll stay in a trading halt for 1 or 2 days and then announce a trading halt. Like I thought they might have announced it maybe Thursday morning or something like that, but it only took them 15 minutes. And they didn't go back into trading at all. So they remained in a trading halt. So we can actually see the indicated price. No, we can't now because trading has finished for the day. But you can see that the share price will open a fair bit lower just by the buyers and sellers at the moment. So you probably can't see that. So if I just zoom in a little bit. So you can see that current share price, $2.30, and there's not much buyers willing to buy above that, only 3 buyers, but a lot of sellers willing to sell as low as $2. So when the market does open up again for Appen, more than likely the share price will open towards, say, $2.10, maybe, about $2.10, I'd say at this point in time, which is understandable because if we take a look at this announcement, I'm pretty sure it's going to be at a significant discount to current share price. So this announcement is, let's have a look. No, that's right. This is a trading halt. This is, I've got to wait a little bit before we get to that 8.53 they released. Let's go up to 8.53. So let's have a look at this $60 million capital raising. 2 parts to the capital raising, if I remember correctly. There was a placement and what do you call it? Entitlement offer. So $38 million, 146 pro rata accelerated non-renounceable entitlement offer and a $21 million institutional placement. And I'm trying to find the discount here. It is always going to be a discount to the current share price. It should have been mentioned right away, but it's not. Let's have a look. Come on, discount. Here it is. So the equity raising price of $1.85 represents a 16.2% discount to the theoretical ex-rights price of $2.21 and to 19.6% discount to Appen's last closing price. So more than likely, the share price will open up when they start trading again. I'd say around about $2. If the market doesn't really like this capital raising, maybe more towards $1.90. So expect a little bit of bloodbath when it comes to Appen shares when they start trading again. So let's go back down to interesting announcements. There's another sort of interesting announcement. Ora Banda Mining exploration update. I did not look at this announcement, but the share price was up 6.5%. I don't follow this company that closely, but the share or the market or the chart for OBM, Ora Banda, is actually really interesting, or has been interesting for a while. A really nice uptrend that developed July, August last year. So this is a sort of company you want to be owning if you're just trading sentiment and trends, because if you bought in at the start of this particular uptrend, you would have bought in about 6 cents. Current share price is 16.5 cents. So you've more than doubled your money if you maintained your position through this period, which you might not have. You might have sold and taken profits. The next interesting announcement was another company I think is really undervalued, and that is Brookside. They released an investor presentation, share price up 6.7%, up 0.1 cents. Market cap $75 million. Company is highly profitable. They just have too many shares on issue, 5 billion shares on issue, but they are doing a share buyback. So that's a company I'm following right now just because I do think they could be significantly undervalued. Another company I'm following not that closely is Rox Resources. New high-grade drill results, but the share price not that, in fact, was down. Then we had 360, Life 360, share price up 11.7% on the back of their first quarter results. I did not have a look at that, but again, just based off the market reaction, the results were pretty good. And I'd say the share price chart, the chart's not that great. Um, I wouldn't say this is sort of a new uptrend because the share price really going sideways, and we saw the share price higher back in October, November last year. But this could be just the share price moving up to these old highs we saw back then, and there might be a little bit of resistance moving forward. But good reaction from the market, nice volume as well, and that volume has continued from pretty nice volume over the last 7 trading days. From their share price, sort of didn't quite get its low, but coming out of its low, which was back in March. So I still think 360. I don't think they would be profitable yet. Still think they're burning through a lot of cash. Market cap of $1.2 billion, and that's the main reason I'm not following Life 360 all that closely. Sezzle, this is interesting. Well, Sezzle, they released also their quarter results, but you'll notice here, according to ComSec, Sezzle has a market cap of 222 billion. That is completely wrong. That would mean Sezzle is the biggest or highest, or has the highest market cap on the ASX. And when you actually click on, because what you can do is see Rox Resources, click on, open a new tab, and it takes you to the Rox Resources site. But when you do that with Sezzle, it takes you to the BHP group, which has a market cap of 222 billion. So I'm not sure what's happening with Sezzle. Don't really care all that much, but that's something interesting if you are using ComSec. And then next one, Shine Justice, multi-site contamination class action settlement, share price up 3.7%, but share price of Shine Justice is down a lot. I'm not a fan of these type of companies. Look at that share price. If you look at the weekly chart, I've got a line there, which is a resist or a support level, which is the lows of at the COVID-19 financial panic, also the lows in July. So share price getting towards those lows. The all-time low is a little bit lower than that, right at about 45 cents. So for some reason, the market doesn't like Shine Justice right now. Share price has taken a massive hit since the end of 2021, falling from about $1.60 down to 70.5 cents. But again, I'm not a big fan of these type of companies. Law companies, accounting companies, companies that hire or employ a lot of professionals. I don't think they should be listed on the exchange. That's just my opinion. Cettire, profitable growth continues as revenue growth accelerates. Share price down 4.3%. Now, I can almost guarantee you the share price opened up significantly high, and then there was a lot of selling during the day. This happens a lot with Cettire. The retail investors get really excited when they see these sort of announcements from the company. This happens to a lot of companies, and they buy in on open, and then the professionals come in and they sell en masse. And then you see the share price down a fair bit from when it opened. So let's have a look at what happened to Cettire today. You can actually see it just on the, let's have a look at the daily chart. You can actually see it on the daily chart here. In fact, let's have a look at the 1 minute chart. And look at that. Look at that. So this is the 1 minute chart going all the way back to the open. Share price, when it closed the previous day, closed at about $1.87.5. Share price went up to $2.18 in the first 45 minutes. So this is not as bad as what I see sometimes when the buying is in the first few minutes, and then you see a massive dumping of stock of shares in the first 10 minutes, and you see the high in that first few minutes, and then the share price just goes down lower and lower through the rest of the day. It took about 45 minutes before we saw the high in Cettire share price today, and then we saw not a lot of selling, but that buying just eased up. And the reason I'm saying there's not a lot of selling is we don't see a lot of volume here, but then the share price just kept on falling and falling and falling. So those who bought near the open, particularly towards the top at $2.15 or so, are already deep in water. And if they are day traders, they will want to be getting out as soon as possible. And that is resistance, because they made a mistake by trying to day trade Cettire today. And if we have a look at the daily chart, it's understandable why we did see some selling once the share price got above $2, because the last 2 times the share price got above $2, let's just put a line in there, right on $2 or just above $2. We'll put it at $2. The last time we have seen a share price get right above or just right on $2 or just above $2, we have seen some selling. And it's happened again. So $2 is a really strong resistance level for Cettire, and the share price closed at $1.79. I did not have a look at this particular announcement, but just based off the title and just based off the initial reaction from the market, I think it would have been pretty good in that, but this happens sometimes. And the last one was Pro Medicus. And this is for the announcements before 10 a.m. I haven't looked at the announcements after 10 a.m. Pro Medicus, we really looked at the Appen. Pro Medicus happened, wrote it down here, 9:12 a.m. Pro Medicus signed 7-year, $20 million contract with Gunderson Health System. Now, in the past, when Pro Medicus signed contracts like these, the market did react quite positively. Let's see if it did again. No, down actually 0.6%. So the market wants something else from Pro Medicus, or the market was expecting these sort of contract wins from the company. So that's why there was sort of a muted response from the market. But again, was there any selling during the day? Maybe there was, again, the positive reaction from the market. Yeah, not really. Share price of Pro Medicus is still an uptrend, even though share price is down from the highs we saw back in February. But you can see the last high was lower, lower than the highs we saw in February. So that could be a concerning sign. And the current low is lower than the previous low as well. So that is sort of the first signs of possibly a developing downtrend in the share price of a company. We have a lower high and a lower low. We want to see higher lows and higher highs. So that's all I want to show you for announcements released before 10 a.m. Now let's have a look at announcements released after 10 a.m. to see if there's anything interesting today that I missed. Ventura Health, establishment of a joint venture with Relief Group. I do like Ventura. I think it's undervalued right now, up 5.7% on the back of that. Market cap now probably about $200 million. Nothing. Orbital Corporation, engine development program update. Share price down 9%, so it must have been negative. And that's really it of anything of note. Appointment of Chief Executive Officer for a company called Atlantic Lithium A11. I've never heard of that company before. Excuse me. Now let's have a look at top gainers, and I'm just gonna refresh that. So top gainers today, Toys R Us, up 23%. I think this might have been one of the worst performing companies the previous day because of the CEO resigning or something like that. Sometimes you'll see this. Let's have a look at Toy. Sometimes you'll see the best performing company was the worst performing company the previous day and vice versa. So yeah, so the previous day or yesterday, share price was down 28%. Today, up 23% on high volume. And you see the share price in a downtrend. There's no reason to be buying this company at all. Toys R Us. So no real big performance today on the ASX. So that best performing company was Toys R Us, up 23%. The other reason I like Market Index is excludes companies with a share price less than 1 cent, because that will, I won't say pollute, but that will, it will make sense. When you see a company includes shares or companies under 1 cent, you'll see a lot of companies up 50% or 100% or down 50%, down 75%, just because the share price is like 0.1 cents. So I like when websites like Market Index excludes companies that have a share price less than 1 cent. So next best performing company was a company called Middle Island Resources. Then it was Power Minerals, Greenwing Resources, Bindi Metals, Euro Manganese, and Hannon. So a lot of these companies I never heard of. The other reason I like this, I'll just zoom in a little bit as well. The other reason I like this is they have Market Index includes the market cap of the companies. And they also include the 1-year performance, share price performance of the company. So Toys R Us, down 84% over the past year, has a market cap of 13.8 million. Middle Island Resources, down 70% for the year, market cap 5.3 million. Now, sometimes I will just click on the company, so Middle Island Resources, just to see any announcements they did release. So today they did release a couple of announcements. Middle Island acquires strategic project. You can click on that. What is this strategic project? Project. And then if I don't see anything, is it silver? cyber for the discovery of copper gold. Okay, so it's just an acquisition of a project. That's why the market got a little bit excited about that company. So the other thing I'm looking for is any companies that I am interested in or know a little bit about, like Kingston Resources. I mentioned that yesterday. They did have a positive announcement, and they're up 14.6%. Magnus Energy up 13.5%. Life 360, I've already mentioned that. 3P Learning, Metarock, Midway Group, and then sometimes I just have a look at the billion, see what the market cap is. There was a company with $1 billion, so James Hardie, yeah, 8.3%, 16.3 billion. So best performing big company on the ASX. And then down the bottom, you can actually do quite a few different, like 52-week highs, 52-week lows, upcoming dividends, unusual volume, that sort of thing. But let's have a look at the top losers for the day. Pivotal Metals, Westar Resources, which I believe was one of the best performers yesterday, if I remember correctly. Let's have a look. Westar Resources. Yeah, I remember talking about this one because it had a lot of selling during the day with that one-day candlestick with the tail, really long tail to the top of the candlestick, which tells you there's a lot of selling. And that selling continued into today. Share price down, what was it, 26.9%. And if we have a look at the 1 minute data, you can see the high interest in this company up until about midday yesterday. And then the selling came in, and the selling has continued to now. And that's why the share price is looking like that, down a lot, because I think the day traders got a little bit too excited yesterday. And it's really understandable why there was a lot of selling yesterday, because look what happened on the 24th of November last year. Share price up 17%, but at one point in that day, share price went to a high of 8.1 cents, but closed at 5.4 cents. So there's a lot of selling that day. And the reason there was a lot of selling that day was, look back, if we go back to the start of 2022, share price fell a lot. So there would be a lot of shareholders who were underwater this company. And when they saw the share price rise on the 24th of November, they saw the opportunity to sell. And as the share price started to fall, when those first sellers came in, they rushed. All the sellers rushed to sell their stock in this company because they had this opportunity to sell at a significantly higher price than the previous few months. And that's what happened yesterday, and has happened today. So don't get too excited when you see the share price up a lot, when the share price it has been higher over the past year. I want to see at least a 1 year high in the share price. Well, typically I say 6 months high, but preferably 1 year high. Anyway, so one of the worst performing companies was Westar, 5E Advanced Materials. I'm looking for any big, or Weebit Nano down 18% today. Well, that's not surprising. This company has a massive amount of volatility. Look at that. Extraordinary volatility. This is just the daily chart. So there was a massive big down day on the 22nd of March, down 20.2%. Share price rallied, beautiful rally in the share price. And then another big dump, 16th of May. Pretty big volume as well. So there's just too much excitement in this company. And there are, I won't say who, maybe institutions taking advantage of this excitement and they are dumping when the share price rallies to say above $7, $7.50, which they have done now twice in the past few months. Anyway, Weebit has no revenue, a lot of potential, but they have to realize that potential. A few other companies here, Intelligent Monitoring Group. Most of these are really small cap companies, less than $10 million. Mad Paws, 11.5% down. Navato Resources, I featured that company in a video a few weeks ago. Carbon Revolution, nothing. Vulcan Energy, that has a pretty high market cap, 700 million or so. And nothing of much interest else on this worst performing of the companies on the ASX today. Now, I'm going through this pretty quick. That's what I do. Sometimes I miss companies, because I'm pretty impatient when it comes to this sort of thing. Arctis down 7% today, down to 7.9 cents. I haven't been following that company all that closely recently. Probiotech down 6.8%. There was rumors of a potential takeover of that company. and maybe some investors are getting a little bit, they wanted a bit more. Oh, the share price was up huge yesterday. I didn't notice that. I am a shareholder of this company. So even though I'm a shareholder of some companies, I don't follow the share price performance of companies I do hold in my portfolio that I hope to hold for the long term. So had no idea probiotic share price was up 7.3% and then down 6.8% today. But it doesn't matter. Share price is significantly higher than from when I bought. Anyway, this video is going on a bit too long, 24 minutes. Jeez. That's all I have for today's video. If you do have any questions, if you like this sort of video, I'd love to do more of these. Maybe one more this week, if any, because I am working Thursday, Friday, so you will not see this type of video on Thursday, Friday. But if you do like these sort of videos, I can do more of these in the future. So leave your thoughts in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.